everybody, how are you doing? This is Michelle from Hot Wheels and Glue Guns, and today I wanted to share with you an easy Easter card that I whipped up today. It's March 21st here in Louisville, and we had a very random 6 inches of snow last night. So I'm actually snowed in today, and I had this idea in my head for Easter cards for my nieces and nephews, and it was so fun. I thought it might be a good project to share with you guys. It didn't take a lot of special supplies or anything too fancy, so it's pretty easy to recreate with what you have at home. First off, I'd like to apologize if there's any shaking with my camera. I'm still kind of working on a new tripod setup, and this tripod just tends to shake a little bit, so I apologize, and I hope that's not too annoying as we go through this. Anyway, let's just get started. Here is the card that we're gonna make. Look how cute that is. I had the idea when I found this paper that I really liked. This is from Amy Tangerine's last scrapbook line. I think it's called On a Whim, maybe? And I just loved the spring colors and the bright patterns on this paper. I like pastel colors, okay, but I'm really more of a bright color person. So I thought this kind of did a fun rainbow spring effect without being too pastel-y and traditionally Easter. As you can see, I used some felt and a little pom-pom for the bunny tail. Turned out awfully cute. So let's get started. You're going to need 3 pieces of cardstock to layer for your card eventually. The background piece is 5 by 7, and then the matte piece, which is this middle solid color, I cut that 4 3/4 by 6 3/4, so a 1/4 inch shorter on each side. And then the pattern paper I trimmed to 5 1/2 by 4 1/2. Is that right? No, 6 1/2. I'm sorry, 4 1/2 by 6 1/2. 4 1/2 by 6 1/2. Basically, you're just going to take it down a 1/4 inch for each one so that you can layer it together and they fit like this. The second thing I did was I just needed a really simple bunny shape. So I Googled Peeps Bunny because I knew that the Peeps, which are one of my favorite candies, by the way, just had this kind of simple shape. So I just Googled an image and I put it into a Word document, sized it to fit in the middle of the card. Just printed it out on printer paper, super easy. If you need more explanation on how to do something like this, leave me a comment below and I'd be happy to cover it, but it's pretty easy. Then I got some felt, because I always have felt. The piece that I used has a little bit of a glitter on it. I traced around my shape. I cut out about 7 of these, because that's how many, I probably did 8 actually, so I had one mess up on. I just traced around my shape and cut it out. Do yourself a favor and don't use a pink Sharpie. I was a little lazy. I had a pink Sharpie next to me on my workspace, so I used it, and now there are a few pink lines around my bunny. Whatever, it's fine. No one will really see it, but I could probably gotten off my lazy butt and gotten a pencil. Okay, once you have a few of those cut out, I found it's easier to cut out all the pieces, like cut the paper, cut the felt, everything like that, and then kind of put them together in a batch. That way you're kind of doing one step at a time and you can kind of clean up as you go, which is something I try to do so that it doesn't get too out of hand. Next, we're going to stitch the bunny onto the paper. To do that, I take my adhesive gun and I just put a little bit of glue on the back of the bunny to help it stay in place while I was stitching. Not a ton, just a little bit. Actually, you can put your 2 background pieces of paper, hold on, stick that down like that. You can actually put your 2 background pieces aside because you don't need those right now. We're going to hand stitch around our bunny. I did a test sample where I stitched it on my machine, and it took a long time, and I didn't quite like how it looked as much. It just looks kind of flat, and I don't know, I didn't like it as much. So that's what that looked like though. If you have a sewing machine and that's more your speed, you could definitely do that. I just put a little bit of adhesive in the center and then held it and then just stitched with like a long straight stitch around the edges. It was really hard to get this part, that's why it's kind of wonky. But I like the way it looks hand stitched a little bit better. So to prepare for the hand stitching to make it a lot easier, I have a seam ripper. You could also use a paper piercer if you have one of those. And then this is a piece of foam, like a mouse pad flipped over, and it gives you something to pierce into. What we're going to do is we're going to pierce holes all the way around, which seems tedious, but honestly, when you go to stitch it, it makes a big difference. So I think it's worth the extra step. So I basically just went around like this, just piercing through the felt and the paper. Every, I don't know, 1/4 inch maybe. I just kind of eyeballed it. And as you can see, the paper, the seam ripper or your paper piercer kind of sinks into the foam, and it helps you to pierce the holes a lot more neatly, and just it's a lot easier. So you can kind of see those holes. It's really hard to see in the camera, but in real life you can kind of see where they are. And of course you can see them on the back. Here, through the magic of video, I have one that's almost all the way done. So that you didn't have to watch me do the whole thing. But the basic stitch is just kind of a back straight stitch. So what you want to do is you want to start one in, pull up your thread through one hole, and go back down the hole behind it. All right, now we've got our stitch piece. Sorry for that little break there. You can take your adhesive. This is my big tape glider gun. I get questions about this one every once in a while. This is a really big tape gun. You do not need this tape gun. This was a purchase that I got because for my business, I make a lot of cards and I go through a lot of this tape adhesive. And this is a lot more cost effective for me. But this thing is big and it's obnoxious. And if you're just doing like the occasional craft product, you seriously don't need it. But this is the one I use, the Scotch ATG. And I do really like it. It works really well, and like I said, the price point on the adhesive is really great. All right. Layered this top piece on. Take this. Layer that on. Now this step is fun. You can see I did my sentiment with one of those, this like an old style tape label. Remember these? Oh my gosh. I used to have one of these when I was younger and I would label everything with it. I have one of those that I bought way back. I don't even know when. And for whatever reason, I have a few colored tapes in them. And I've been wanting to pull them out and use them, so I thought this would be the perfect excuse. So I'm gonna label out my funny bunny again. This one just works like a dial. It's not electronic or anything. You just squeeze it to get your impression. And actually, I like it that way because there's less parts to break. It doesn't need batteries. It was just ready to go after truly, I've probably not pulled this out in 7 years, 6, 7 years. At least since I've moved in here, I'm pretty sure I haven't pulled it out. So, but since it didn't have batteries, it was still kind of ready to go. All right, get to the end. I'd already done some of it so that you didn't have to watch me do the whole phrase. But let's cut that off. Put this guy to the side. I'm also going to do, so I have 7, and I'm trying to think of fun bunny puns to use on them. I'm going to do, hello, honey bunny. And then I'm trying to think of a couple more funny ones. I wanted to do something like with chocolate eggs, but I can't really. I have to maybe do a Google search to try to find something fun. I have 7, and I kind of want to make them all a little different. We'll see. All right, add that. The nice thing is these are self-adhesive, so you just have to pull the tape off the back, and then you're ready to stick them right on. If you didn't have one of these labelers, you probably don't have the green tape, but you could totally do this with the black tape that came with it, or I don't know, maybe it came with like a red or a blue. I'm trying to think of an office color. You could still totally do that. I just thought the green looked kind of springy. You could also print these out on your computer. You could just do like a text box, fill it with color, and then do white font in it and cut it out in strips to make it kind of look the same. Whatever you've got. Alrighty. So for the last step, we have to give him a bunny tail. And I had these pom-poms from Valentine's Day. I bought them as photo props when I made pictures of Valentine's for my shop. And I thought, well, these would be perfect. What I did to make it stick a little bit better, since it's round on all sides, is I did trim one side to make it flat. I just used my scissors. Cut through it like that. These were cheapos. I think I got them at the Dollar Tree, so they're not anything too crazy. They're not wool or 100% cotton or anything. And then I use one of my favorite glues, the Quick Dry Tacky Glue. Put a little bit on the inside there. Put him right in his little rump area. And then I did hold it down for a few seconds just to make sure. I was afraid, since the felt and the pom-poms were both that kind of cheap acrylic material, that they might not stick together well. So I did kind of hold it down to make sure that they adhered really well together. Alrighty, that's it. This is the card, your final product. These will fit in an A7 sized envelope, which is, I believe, 5 1/4 by 7 1/4, but they're pretty easy to find at most craft stores. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you are looking for more DIY ideas, more card making ideas, things like that, come visit me at my blog. It's hotwheelsandglueguns.com/blog, or follow me on Instagram. I share a lot of things over there. And make sure you sign up for my email newsletter. That way you'll know every time a new video comes out. That'd be great. If you do decide to do this, I would love, love, love to see your version. Please, please, please send me a picture on Instagram or Facebook at Hot Wheels and Glue Guns. Or you can shoot it to me in an email, and there's an email link on my website. But I love seeing when people make things that I've inspired or that I've kind of shared with them. I just love that so much. So if you get a sec and you decide to make these, please send me a picture. Thank you again for stopping by, and I will see you again soon, hopefully with warmer weather.